Welcome everybody to the Fox 3 Phoenix channel. I am your host Governator, and today we're doing a how to fly the MiG-19.
Установить колодки. Принял. Командир, колодки установлены.
So as you can see, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our ground chocks in place, and you'll see why here in a minute.
Установить колодки.
And then after that, we're going to end up adding ground power. Because yes, this plane cannot take or start up under its own power. And as you can see, we got two MiG-19s taking off right in front of me. I'm really excited to begin working with this plane because it's the first Gen 2 plane, and it has afterburners and sidewinder missiles, which we'll get to later. Well, the afterburner anyway. Missiles will be a different video. But it's really cool looking at this airport. You can sort of see the MiG-19 looks like a stretched, elongated, faster, meaner version of the MiG-15. And so I think it'll be a lot of fun. Alright, first thing we're going to do is put our battery switch on, which you just saw moved everything there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is our internal Rio lights. Right under here. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure you guys can see it to the best of my ability. And then from there, we are going to go do our radio emergency power switch. And then the main power switch as well. And from there, our beacon radio transmitter. And then our elevator controls, which are right there. And then after that, it's the trim power switch. And then the radio navigation power. And then we're going to go over to our, let's see, we're going to uncage this thing. I don't remember exactly what you call it, but it's like your ADI, which is, I think, Advanced Direction Finder, or Indicator, sorry. And then you push in this little GIK button, which slaves that compass right in front of us to the ADI indicator. It's just basically our attitude indicator. So, okay, from there, we're going to move over to our left side, where we're going to go look at our fuel pump switches. There are 4 fuel pumps. You're going to see I'm going to hit 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do the cockpit heater switch. Alright, now it's time to do engine start power switch, which this is where a sequence of events are going to happen, are a little fun. We got this guy here, and then the fire extinguisher power switch is coming on next. And then we need to go to, it's time to go start our left engine. So there's a cover over the left engine that we're going to try and flip, and hopefully you can see it. Oh yeah, and I'm going to move my throttle to idle. You have to press Alt and Home. You can't really see that. I just do that separately. But that gets the throttle to the idle position. So we'll do that first, and then I'm going to pop this cover off. And you see the RPM gauge right there. I'm kind of looking at it. We're going to press this thing in and hold it for 3 seconds. And you're going to see one of the needles begin to pop up. As you can see, it is there. And then it's going to go up. And you have to wait till it gets to 3,500 RPMs. And you'll see this Russian light to the right of the indicator gauge that says het something. I don't know. It's Russian. But you have to wait till that turns off. Here beginning to spool up, and you got to turn, I forgot to turn the generators on. Those last 2 switches I just did there, that's the left and the right generator. They should be on, and that's because once the engine's on, we are going to be able to disconnect ground power, and in order to do that, we have to have our generator power on. So you see it's almost there. It's about 3,400 RPMs. Coming up just a little more. You really do have to wait till it gets to the actual idling speed. And then wait for that light, it'll turn off. There it goes. Alright, so we are officially on our own power. So you got to call up the ground crew and say, hey, disconnect me from the ground power. And then from there, we're going to begin closing our canopy. Wait till they get the thing undone before I do it. Okay. Now, let's see here. Let's close our canopy. You can see it got a lot quieter. And from there, I'm going to pressurize the cockpit, which we have to press this lever on the very bottom of the screen. I'm not sure if you guys could see it, but I just pushed it forward. And now we do the same thing we did with the left engine, but to the right side. So
Командир, наземное питание подключено.
we're going to come over here and push the throttle forward, and for the right side, it's right shift and home, and that'll get it into the idle position, and then you pop the cover, press the button for 3 seconds, and wait again for the right engine to spool up. So you can see the left engine sitting at idle. You just got to wait till the right engine spools up, and then you basically wait for that light to turn off, and you're done. See, it's up to 3,000 now. And then the fun part begins afterwards. And this part coming up is why you want the wheel chocks. So hey, while we're waiting for it to spool up, if you guys wouldn't mind clicking that like and subscribe button, again, I'd really appreciate it. I am in negative money because I haven't made anything yet. You have to get to 1,000 subscribers before YouTube will even look at you. Which I don't know if we'll ever get there, but it's just cool watching the number go up. I'm at 184 as of this filming. So from well, it's not there yet. Just trying to look at all the cool stuff. I love that radar right there. I've got to learn how to use that, but I haven't just yet. Should be turning that light off any second. And there it goes. Alright, from here we're going to spool up both engines to 10,000 RPMs, and this is going to get the engines warm, because remember, this is a cold start. And so you have to keep them at 10,000 RPMs for 40 seconds. So don't worry, there's other stuff to do at this time, but I got to wait till I get the RPMs actually there. And once you leave it for 40 seconds, then the airplane should be warm. Alright, now we begin flipping more switches. The first one is the gun sight heater switch, then the gun sight on switch. You can see I got a little gun sight there. Then radar power switch and rocket pod power switch even without them. And then the left and the right gun pods. And then the pitot heater switch and the emergency pitot heater switch. Those last ones are camera models, camera switches. They don't really do much. But then there's the, these are the emergency pitot heater switches at the top. But you wouldn't normally do the pitot heater switches if you were sitting in the spot because it can burn people. And then basically from here, that gets we press the flaps to take off, and I put the gear lever cover switch off there. You just saw it, and by then that should have been about 40 seconds, and so you can bring the power back to idle. So from here, you're going to need to go remove the wheel chocks, and that way we can actually start taxiing to the runway.
Убрать колодки.
And this has your typical Russian taxiing parking brake situation where you press the brakes and then you rudder to either side and it'll apply brake pressure to that wheel, and you go from there. Alright, and we're taxiing. Got some MiG-19s in front of us. So my goal for the flight today is just a simple, demonstration flight. Is I'm going to literally hold the afterburner, or hold the plane in place, spool up to full power. You have to click on the afterburners after you enable them. It's really cool. There's some MiG-15s back there and some 19s on my left. And then I'm just going to release, and this thing accelerates like crazy. I mean, I love the jets from Gen 1, but you can tell when the afterburners became a thing, like, holy smokes, that is awesome. But I just want to go over Mach 1 in level flight. That is our goal for the flight today. And then basically do some cool, just quick maneuvers to demonstrate the abilities of this plane. I have flown it one other time just so I could learn how to do this before I actually tried to make a video on it. And I can tell you they fixed the roll rate problem in the MiG-15, especially once you get this thing up to speed. Holy moly, this thing will make you a little dizzy, it turns so tight. So let's get lined up here at the runway, and then basically we're going to make sure our nose wheel brake is off. It's off, or it's like off, so we don't, force it to go straight. And then basically I click the maximum power button, which is right there. Yep. And that means we can enable afterburners, and from here you basically hold the brakes, spool up to full power. You'll see when I hit the afterburners, the brakes can't even hold the plane back. It's hilarious. And then we go and just release it. And I'll start pulling back at about 200 kilometers per hour, and the plane should take off somewhere around 280 to 300. And there's afterburners, and then I release the brakes, and here we go. You can see we're already at 100 kilometers per hour. It's like this thing just goes like crazy. And there we are, we're off. It's like, whoa, jeez, oh peas. So, yeah. Then you want to retract your flaps, do your normal landing gear up, and then barrel roll, because this is the Govnator, and on the Fox 3 Phoenix channel, we always do a barrel roll after takeoff. And then just to demonstrate the power, look at this thing. I'm just going straight up right after we took off, and it's climbing and climbing. This thing way out climbs the MiG-15 or the F-86. It's just like, and you see it's still going. Alright, let's bring it back into reasonable control here. Go straight down, build up some speed. And then when we do this next climb, it'll really be a climb, because we're going to come into it with some speed here. Already going almost Mach 1, not quite. And then watch this thing. We just go up. You're going to see a lot more mountains in the background when we get done with this. Look how fast it rotates. Makes me dizzy doing this. It's fun. I mean, look at that. You're just climbing, climbing, climbing. Still going to, like, I think I saw 350 kilometers per hour. Now it's 350 now. And then just keeps on going. Keeps on going. It'll stall soon, because these planes, especially these Gen 2 planes, are hilarious. How fast you have to go just to maintain control. Like, they don't like to fly at speeds of less than pretty much 400 kilometers per hour. They will, don't get me wrong, but they just don't like it. Like, unless you're going fast, they don't like it. And then I found out through possible trial and error that when you're going Mach 1 and you try and do an aileron roll really quickly, sometimes you can pop an aileron off. So you gotta kind of respect the plane, understand that it was 1955 technology. and you know, they were just pushing past the Mach 1 barrier, and this was their first plane that really could do it well in level flight. And yes, I know the MiG-17 could do it too, but it could barely get over it. Whereas this one can definitely fly at over Mach 1. The maximum speed of this plane is Mach 1.35, which I believe is roughly around 800-ish miles per hour. But you just saw the gauges switch over there. That's because we're going over Mach 1 now. I forget what it's called. I should have looked it up so I could explain it. But it'll mess with the pressure gauges once you reach supersonic speeds. Now at this altitude, we're not going to get much more than Mach 1. We're at like Mach 1.1-ish. No, sorry, no, we're at like Mach 1.02. And so, you know, we're going to do another climb and go the opposite direction. Just because it's not the optimum altitude. I think this thing really likes to go fast at more like 30 to 40,000 feet. And so we're not there yet. But I want to kind of see what happens at where we're at. And then we'll pull up here and we'll start taking it to the next level. And look how fast and how far away our airport is. I mean, this thing's just beast status. It's because it's got afterburners. It's crazy. Doing a Mach 1 climb. And then we're going to roll over here. And then we can see what Mach number we hit at this altitude, now that we're high. Oh, look at the contrail. That's awesome. The MiG and the F-86, you know, MiG's better at climbing than the F-86 by a little bit. But, man, like, when you get to these higher altitudes and you push them like this, this thing just really scoots compared to those other two planes. You can tell the difference between Gen 1 and Gen 2. And the reason we're doing this is because it's fun, but also we got to move our way back towards our base, and yeah. I'm just sitting here on full burners pretty much this whole time. Burning lots of fuel. It's all good. And there's our airport. Woohoo! Alright, we're over Mach 1.1 now. You can see it was like Mach 1.13. And if you stay here for a while, it'll probably get to about Mach 2. I'm sorry, Mach 1.2 almost. But again, I'm not at the optimum altitude to get to 1.35. And that's, again, under the right circumstances. Point is, we got pretty darn close to it, which that's all I'm really looking to do. And just look how fast this thing could roll over. It's just intense. So we're going to come back down now and do one more pass by the airport. You got to be careful when you're coming down. I've heard these things can get oversped, so I'm actually pulling the afterburner here because I don't know what the speed is, but I'd like to actually show you, you know, a successful video as opposed to a video that's here's how you crash really quickly into the ground. See those? I think those are the old MiG-19s that took off earlier. I've got the engine spooled up again now. We're at full burner again. And we are making our way just to do a quick airport pass. Oh yeah. This would be pretty fun to witness if you were on the ground and be like, what is going on? Seeing this MiG-19 guy just coming right over you and just full burner, kicking butt. I haven't been able to get this plane to do the vapors over the wing, and I have a feeling that's because Gen 2 craft were not necessarily... Oh, look how fast this thing can rotate. That's ridiculous. Gen 2 aircraft were not known for their more maneuverability, or at least these ones, and like you go into the 100 series for the Americans, and unfortunately they don't have any of those in this game that are professionally modeled. They do have mods, which if they work well, I'll show you some videos with them, but so far, and it may just be because the mods I've picked, the old ones, or for old Gen 1 airplanes, are just crap, to be honest. They're A, not very realistic, and B, they have no clickable cockpit at all, and C, they have lots of problems when you try and do fights against them where they just literally eject constantly. And it also causes a lot more track errors, which this game, I can't believe this game has track errors. It's ridiculous. You play Sturmovik, it never does. But this game, oh my god, it has frustrated me so many times when I think I made a cool video and then I find out, oh no you didn't. So anyway, I'm trying to speed in here to land because there's these other MiG-19s and I'm a jerk and not going to let them land ahead of me because I want to bring it in here really quickly. So you can see I try to get things to under 400 knots before I put my flaps to beyond takeoff position. And I put them at takeoff usually at 400, and at 350 I lower them all the way. And under 400 I put the gears down. And this thing will literally fly at about 310, 320 knots, or kilometers per hour, and then you cut the power, and it'll just come on down on its own. And there it goes. And then you got a parachute to deploy here, this little yellow button, and boom, now we have our parachute deployed. Look at that. Look at how cool that is. Oh, you can see the other MiG-19s got told to go fly kite because I'm here. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm glad that the video didn't screw up and, you know, show me landing in a field or in some trees or in the water or something. But anyways, oh, that's so cool. That's my wingman, I think. Yep, that's what it is, but that's how to start up a MiG-19 from a cold start, and just a little quick demo flight. Thank you guys again. You've been watching the Fox 3 Phoenix channel. I am your host, Governor, and let me know if you like these videos. I'll keep doing them for some new planes, and otherwise, if you come up with some cool scenarios, I'm all ears. But in the meantime, hope you guys have a good one. I'm out of here. I'll see you on the next video.